Hello, today I'll be reviewing the new At the Gates album, The Nightmare of Being, an album that I was definitely looking forward to, especially after hearing the first single, Specter of Extinction, which I did review on my channel. So if you want to hear me go deeper into that song, definitely check out that review after this review. But yeah, this is of course the follow-up to their album To Drink from the Night itself, which I like the album. Not one of my personal favorites from the band, but I do like it overall. I do think it was maybe a step down from the previous album, At War with Reality, but again, still a pretty solid album, I'd say. But now we got this new album, so let's go ahead and dive into it. The album starts off with Specter of Extinction, which again, I did review on my channel, and starts off with some pretty guitar, eventually leading into some powerful riffs, I'd say. Then we eventually get into the verses, which are definitely upbeat and heavy, and the energy of the verses continues into the chorus, and I really dig the chorus. Probably one of my favorite choruses on the album, but the song throughout it has some pretty awesome tempo changes, and again, I am a big fan of prog, so I definitely like some pretty cool tempo changes or interesting transitions and all that good stuff. But yeah, definitely feels like classic metal death to me. The song again in general feels like classic metal death to me. But yeah, overall definitely a great album opener and not a bad choice for a single too. But next we have The Paradox. Definitely a banger of a song. I really like the rhythm work around the 4 minutes and 12 seconds mark, along with the hard-hitting riffs. Again, definitely a banger of a song that I'm definitely growing to like more and more with each listen, because during my first listen, when the song came out as, of course, the second single, I liked it, but I didn't love it. But I'm definitely growing to like it more and more with each listen. And I won't be surprised if this song ends up being another favorite of mine on the album. But next we have the title track, The Nightmare of Being. The song starts off with some grim guitar that helps build up the dark vibe of the song. Around the 3 minutes mark, you get some pretty mean / dark sounding riffs, which is probably one of my favorite moments in the song. But yeah, the song throughout has I really like the dark nature or vibe of the song overall, and yeah, definitely a song that's definitely getting better with each listen, I'd say. And this is another song on the album that I wouldn't be surprised ends up being one of my personal favorites on the album. But yeah, the first half of this album especially is really strong in my opinion. But you get to the next song, Garden of Cyrus. You hear a little bit of prog in this song. And if you're familiar with my channel, then you should know that I definitely love myself some prog, whether it's prog rock or prog metal. So this song was definitely a treat for me. Now, it's not like super proggy or anything, but when you listen to the instrumentation, it's definitely one of the more proggier songs on the album, I'd say. But you really hear the band's talent in the song. I think the saxophone really adds some intrigue into the song, and especially along with the dark tones you get throughout the song too. You do get some spoken word, and of course Thomas's signature vocals. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. If I got it wrong, feel free to correct me in the comment section below. But yeah, vocally, I think he sounds pretty interesting in this song. But yeah, I'd say this is definitely one of the most unique songs on the album. Definitely a song that I'd say could stand on its own, and probably one of my favorites on the album. I don't know, I'm really digging this song. I was definitely pleasantly surprised during my first listen, but yeah, overall, definitely a great song, and definitely shows that At the Gates is definitely willing to take risks or experiment a bit more with their sound or expand it. But next we have Touched by the White Hands of Death. Starts off with the cinematic intro / build-up, which helps create the overall vibe of the song, and the song eventually leads into some fast tempos and some heavy riffs. But yeah, the song throughout to me feels very theatrical, cinematic, you can maybe say too, and overall a pretty interesting song. Maybe not as unique as the previous song, but of course it doesn't have to be either, because either way I still think this song is pretty dang cool. Definitely a song that I'm really enjoying more and more with each listen. But next we have The Fall into Time, which is of course the third single. The song builds things up in a cinematic manner, along with of course some vocals from Thomas around like the 45 seconds mark or so. But the rhythm work definitely, such as in the verses, really pulls me into the song, and The song also takes some pretty interesting twists and turns, I'd say, especially such as around the 4 minutes and 10 seconds mark. Yeah, overall, a pretty cool song. I don't know if it's one of my personal favorites. It didn't grab me as quick as the previous two singles, but still overall a pretty solid song, I'd say. And a song that I would be willing to return to more and more. Next we have Cult of Salvation. The guitar work definitely takes the spotlight for me with this song, but I also do like the bass work around the 2 minutes and 30 seconds mark. Not a whole lot to say about this song. It's not one of my personal favorites on the album, but I do like it overall. Even if it's not one of my personal favorites, I still think it's a pretty solid song, because there isn't really any songs on the album that I would say are weak. But if I had to choose one, it'd maybe be this song, maybe. But again, that's not much of a diss or anything, because I still think this is a pretty solid song. But next we have The Abstract, Enthroned. Starts off heavy and fast right from the get-go, and yeah, another banger on the album, kind of like with The Paradox, and overall a fairly enjoyable song, I'd say, and definitely a blast to listen to. But then we get to Cosmic Pessimism. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but definitely another pretty unique song on the album. I do think the spoken word definitely adds to the song, definitely helps build an interesting or intriguing vibe or atmosphere to the song. But I also like the calm way that the song closes. I thought that was pretty cool and an interesting choice too, but definitely another unique song on the album, I'd say, kind of like with Garden of Cyrus. And this is another song on the album that I wouldn't be surprised ends up being another favorite of mine on the album, and definitely one of the highlights of the second half, I'd say. But finally we get to the album closer, Eternal Winter of Reason, one of the shorter songs on the album. The opening riff I really like a lot. That continues to the first verse. The song also has an interesting atmosphere to it, and also the darkness that you get throughout the album definitely, of course, continues into this song. And yeah, it has some atmosphere to it, but also at the same time still feels somewhat like a banger too, I'd say. But yeah, overall, definitely a great way to close off the album. I do wish it was maybe a little bit longer, but either way, it's still a pretty solid song again. But if I had to rate this album, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. Honestly, I'm really loving this album, especially certain songs. They're really getting better with each listen, and it's definitely going to be tough for me to pick favorites off this album, but I know Specter of Extinction and Garden of Cyrus are definitely going to be some of my favorites on the album especially. But yeah, overall, again, definitely going to have to go with a 9 out of 10. The sound of the album still feels similar, but you can also tell that the band, especially with certain songs like Garden of Cyrus or Cosmic Pessimism, that the band is not afraid to take risks or experiment with their sound or expand on it, however you want to put it. But yeah, 9 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts on the album. Do you love it? Do you hate it? How does it compare to their past work for you personally? Let me know favorite or least favorite songs on the album and all the good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Have a nice day and take care.